Hello, my dears. Let's get ready to draw our 3D city. Remember, 3D means we're going to make our buildings look like they are not flat, okay? Like they have some depth to them. So you need your placemat, you need your paper to draw on, you need a little square, and you need your Sharpie, okay? Once we have all those things, we're ready. I need for you to go ahead and get your marker ready. And the square is going to help us draw our buildings, but we don't have a straight edge, so you're going to have to be very careful when you draw your lines to try not to let them be so wonky and so wobbly and wiggly. You need to draw them as straight as you can, which means you probably need to draw a little slowly. So keep that in mind. The first thing I need for you to do down at the bottom of your paper is write your name. So we're going to be using the square to help us do the rooftops of our buildings. And we're not going to trace it as a square. We're actually going to turn it and trace it as a sort of a diamond. So what I need for you to do is somewhere down, not at the very bottom, come up just a little bit. I want you to turn your square so that one of the points is pointing straight down the paper. Okay, so it kind of looks like a diamond. So again, we're kind of near the bottom of the paper. We're not in the middle or at the top. We're near the bottom. And it can be off to the left. It can be in the center. It can be off to the right. It really doesn't matter. I'm going to do mine a little bit off center. I'm going to do it more towards the left. But it does need to be turned more like a diamond so that one of the points is pointing directly to the bottom of the paper. When you have it like that, put your finger on it and very carefully trace around all four edges. Remember, the thing about a Sharpie is if you mess up, we just keep going, okay? We're not going to switch papers. Mistakes happen. We just keep on drawing. Okay, once you have that one, then I want you to put your square slash diamond a little higher, and I could go like right above it. I'm going to move over though and put mine more towards the right side, again with one of the points pointing directly down at the bottom of the paper, so it looks more like a kite. Once you have that fixed the way you want it, put your finger on it and trace around. Go slow, go slow, go slow. Okay, we're going to repeat that again. Keeping in mind, and I didn't say this before, but we don't want them to touch each other, okay? So when you're drawing, we do not want our kind of diamond shapes to touch. Okay, and I am going to do one more really tall one up here. Again, it's not touching any one that I've already done. It's got a point that's pointing at the bottom of the paper, and I'm going to trace it. Okay, 4 is all we need. It's all we've got room for, really, and you'll see why in a second. Okay, so 4 is it. Once you have your 4, then we're going to move on to the next step. And you can just put your square out of the way. And what I need for you to do next is put your finger on the diamond that is closest to the bottom of your paper. So which one is closest to the bottom for me? It would be this one right here. Okay, so which one is closest to the bottom of your paper? Mine is this one. You put your finger on the one that is closest to the bottom of the paper. Okay, the one that's lowest on the paper. Okay, so what I'm going to do, if you'll watch me first, is I am going to draw from 3 of the points, not the 4th one up here, okay? So I'm going to start with the point that is pointing down at the bottom of the paper, and you are going to draw, remember I said draw very slowly, draw as straight a line as you can get all the way to the bottom. Almost looks like a kite. Okay, and then see how this looks kind of like a Y, like a letter Y right here. Okay, at the ends of my Y, which would be these 2 points right here, I'm also going to draw a line straight down to the bottom of the paper. Okay, so there's one. My name is in the way, so I'm going to stop right above my name, and there's one. Okay, do you see how this looks like a 3D building, but you're like way up in the sky? This is called a bird's eye view. Like you're looking down at the top of the building, the roof of the building. Okay, we are not going to do a line from the top corner down because that would look like our building is open. And buildings are not open on the roof. They have a solid top for the roof, so we are not drawing a line from the top point down, and we won't be doing lines from the top points on any of our diamond shapes. Okay, so once you're done with this one, move on to the next highest diamond, so that would be this one. So we're working our way from shortest, and eventually we'll do tallest last. Okay, so shortest, this is the next one in line. Okay, so again, slowly, straight a line as you can do from the bottom point, the one that's pointing downward, and then again, slowly and slowly. Okay, so see how this is a shorter building, this is getting a little taller. Remember, we are not doing a line from the top point. Okay, now the next one in line is this one. You're thinking, how am I going to do these lines? Well, I'm going to show you. Anytime it touches another building, you stop drawing, okay? So again, we're starting with the bottom point first, and as soon as I come down and I touch this building, I'm going to stop drawing. Do not cut through a building. So you stop drawing. Okay, I'm going to draw this line. If I go very slowly, look, I'm not touching another building at all. It went in that little bitty space right in between. That may happen for you, or it may not. If you touch another building, stop. I'm going to draw and stop because I touched that building right there. Okay, next one, it's the tallest one. Again, starting from the bottom point. Stop when you touch another building. Stopping when you touch another building. Stopping when you touch another building. Okay, so there's my city with my 4 buildings. And we're looking at the rooftops of these buildings. We're going to add some detail to them in just a second. But first, what I need for you to do, now that we have our buildings drawn, is I want you to pick a point, not halfway, but a little higher than halfway. So if this is about halfway right here, a little higher than halfway on the edge, pick a point. And I would need for you to draw a line, stop whenever you touch the building, pick up again, okay? And we're going to do a little bit of background, okay? So our buildings would be our foreground and middle ground, and then this is going to be our background. So we're going to have a line like where the land stops, and then we're going to have a little water out here with the sun, kind of like the picture that is next to the slide, the video slide. So out here you're going to do another line. So this kind of reminds me of maybe like Chicago or something, how it's next to a Great Lake, and like all this right here is water, and I'm just putting some little water lines, like little waves, indications of waves. And if you wanted to, you could do a really small sailboat, okay, because this is really far away, so because remember it's our background. And then I'm gonna do a nice either sunrise or sunset. Out in the background. Okay, let me show you one more thing about these buildings. This is really cool, okay? I am going to really thicken in this side and show you something. So even if you're not done with your background, can you stop for a moment and look and see this next part? Do you see how I made that really bold? Don't do yours that way. I just wanted to show you something to make your buildings really look 3D. So if you want to do windows, I don't want you to mess up your building by doing windows the wrong way. So do you see how this line is at an angle? Okay, so if you do windows, they all need to be at that same angle. So any windows on this side of the building need to be at this angle. Okay, so if you drew lines, if I went and drew lines like that, and then I came back down with lines like this to connect, do you see how I have made some really large windows? So you can add windows, but they need to be at the correct angle. And so the angle is going to be whatever your like V shape is. So this line right here tells us that all the windows on this side need to be at that angle, just like that line right there. And then all of the windows on this side need to be at the same angle as this line right here. So they all need to be going whichever way the roof is going on that building. So all the windows go this way here, but then on this side they all copy this line right here. So they're all going in that direction. Okay, if you don't do it that way, here's one of my practice ones I was just going to show you. If you don't do it that way, and let's say you did just straight windows like that, do you see how that really messes up the angle of your building? So it needs to copy the angle of the roof. So whatever angle your roof is at, that is the angle that your windows need to go at. So this right here should have been here, 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 and here. It should have been at that angle. Otherwise, then it kind of makes your building look flat again, and we don't have that 3D quality to it, okay? So if you want to add windows, you feel free to add windows, but you can also add just like lines. That kind of is an indication of windows. If you want to, if you copy the kind of roof shape, you can do like towers and that kind of fun stuff. So that is totally up to you. And then after you finish drawing, feel free to color. I can't wait to see your cities.